Hi everyone, in today's video we'll be talking about when to eat during cycling. I'm sure whenever you will be cycling for less than an hour, you would not be giving weightage to it. That's why I've taken up this topic to explain you how nutrition plays an important role, whether you ride it for less than an hour or anything beyond that. So let us break this when to eat during cycling into two categories. The first is the timing, and the second, what matters, is terrain. Let us talk about first timing. If you're riding less than 1 hour, instead of not eating anything, gradually develop a habit to take anything after every 30 minutes. This is way you are trying to adapt your body to a disciplined approach. It is very important to fuel yourself when you are cycling. If a good time, an ideal time to fuel yourself is every 45 minutes if you are riding for more than an hour, and if you are riding less than an hour, it is advisable to fuel yourself every 30 minutes. It's actually a good idea to fill yourself before your tummy gives you a signal. The way we do for hydration, we try to fuel up yourself before we are thirsty. Similarly, we have to do in case of fueling up your tummy as well. Then it's matter to keep a disciplined approach. So if you are riding, you already know if you are riding for 2 hours, fix up a plan at what intervals you are going to stuff yourself. Now each body reacts differently. So try to test different intervals and see what suits best to you. Either it can be 30 minutes, or it can be 40 minutes, or it can be 45 minutes. So set up a disciplined approach. First try to experiment different kind of intervals with your own self, and then finalize a fixed timing and have that timing as a mental reminder during your ride that you have to stuff yourself, fuel yourself when you are riding a particular distance. Ideally, it is said that 0.5 to 1 grams of carbohydrate per kg body weight per hour is required, but it is important to see how your body performs better. Simple method is that based on your duration of your ride, try to eat at regular intervals. That is our own purpose. Set a fixed timing. So it's important to maintain a consistent food pattern during your ride and have a fixed intervals so that you finish your ride strongly and not reach the end point exhausting your own self. Now, the second thing what we will be talking about today is terrain. Which terrain you should eat and which you should be cautious. The second consideration here, terrain, is because when you are riding and then you are eating, you need to have a good bike handling skills. So if you do not have a good bike handling skills, try not to take a risk. Don't make it an hazard. So train yourself properly how to fuel yourself when you are cycling, because you will be pulling off your one hand from the handlebar when you are taking your gel or taking any banana or any stuff from your jersey and eating. So think carefully when you are going to eat. There are obvious places to avoid when you should not eat in cases of terrain. The first is when it's a technical descent. So when you are actually in a technical descent, the bike is going on a very high speed and it's not advisable to be only on one hand and then fueling yourself. The second area where you have to be very careful is your straight descent, because your bike will be definitely on high speed again, and always good to be very cautious in descent with both your hands on the handlebar and not giving your focus in trying to eat with one hand alone. The third area of caution in case of terrain is the climb. When it's a very steep climb, your body is already focusing on pedaling faster, so it might be difficult for you to breathe and eat together. So on steep climbs also you should avoid not to eat. The next place to be cautious is when you are along with any rider or riders, so that you don't bump into someone when you are only balancing your bike with one hand. The next one is your crosswinds. When your bike is already in a speed and you are in a crosswind and you are not able to handle your bike and you are focusing on the route which you are going, it is advisable not to fuel yourself. So based on all this, I'm sure you might have guessed what is the right place, right terrain when you should fuel yourself. Let me answer it. So when it's a flat road or when you feel that it's not a very steep climb, it's an average climb, you can manage it well, that time you can have, or you can also have it in a descent which is not very technical or not very steep. It's a moderate one, that time also you can try to fuel yourself. If anyone is new to the cycling and cycling sport, and if you are still gaining your good bike handling skills, then it is advisable to stop at one point, fuel yourself properly, and then get back on your saddle instead of totally avoiding not to eat. That is not the right strategy. Instead, it's better to fuel yourself by stopping aside. In case of Tour of Aravallis, I'm sure the roads have lots of ascents and descents, so do practice that in your training. Practice also your nutrition well, when you are going to eat and how you are going to eat. So I hope today's video has clarified you about this strategy, which will play a role in your nutrition strategy, a part of nutrition strategy, and we'll meet again next week and talk further. Thank you.